let's talk real quick about Pokemon Generations. We'll end out the show with maybe a quick review of the whole series.
Okay.
We'll title it even maybe as a snippet, Pokemon Generations review. No more than, obviously no more than 10 minutes. We got to wrap up the show.
Yep.
But I'm thinking like maybe in just 5 minutes, just quick thoughts on it for people that maybe haven't seen it or maybe want to talk about it with some other people. Yeah. So, in case you didn't know, Pokemon Generations is a quick little anime series of Pokemon that goes through every generation of Pokemon up to the latest ones. I actually didn't see too much X and Y in there, but they go up all the way through, the Diamond, Pearl, Platinum generation.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even see too much Black and White from what I recalled. I don't know, though. I'm a little fuzzy on some of that. And so, anyway, though, we have these 10 episodes. I believe they said they were just sticking with 10, so we're not going to get any more unless they do some surprise releases. And we have the Adventure, which talks about Pikachu, basically shows Pikachu going through every generation of Pokemon. So that one actually did have, X, Y, and Z stuff in there. The Chase, which is about Team Rocket. The Challenger, which was about the Pokemon League. I think, no, wait, what was that? Yeah, the Challenger is the Pokemon League. The Lake of Rage shows the red Gyarados, the shiny Gyarados, and the first time you meet that. Mm-hmm. The Legacy was about Giovanni's son, which is actually like one of my least favorite ones. That was super kind of weird.
That was with not his name's not Red, but he's Silver from Red, Gold and Silver. He's like the guy that's looking in the window, right? And he's your rival in that game. It's because he's Giovanni's son. Yeah. And so it's kind of following him, but it was just super melodramatic and
that was a little cringe.
Yeah.
Then the Reawakening, episode 6, was your favorite. It's kind of about the spiritual bond of Pokemon, the origin of the 3 legendary dogs, which was super like profound, and then Ho-Oh coming in, and the relationship between Pokemon and humans. Then there was the Vision, which showed basically Team Magma's side of Pokemon Ruby. Then the Cavern, which showed what would happen if Team Aqua would have won, which I thought was probably my favorite, like the devastation in that was
I thought that was
dark.
Also like my second favorite, or tied with number 6, because that one's so cool. Yeah. And it gave me chills.
Yeah. Then the Scoop, which was an alien battle with Deoxys.
And I also felt that the Cavern was like the most adult of all of them, possibly, because it kind of dealt with like death and the end of the world and stuff. So it was like pretty deep and heavy.
Well, and it was also something that you wouldn't really expect to see. Like the whole time you're waiting for the hero to come in and save the day, and it just ends with what is it, Kyogre or whatever coming down, and just wrecking them. Like it was like, oh my gosh, like it shows how unstable these Pokemon can be. So then episode 9 was the Scoop with a space battle with Deoxys and some kind of cliffhanger sort of thing, like the world's not ready to know what happened with Deoxys. And then the very last one was kind of a Halloween special, super creepy, super unsettling with the old chateau, showcasing
even the art style I felt was a little bit noticeably different in sort of like a kind of, I don't know, it was weird because the way that they like drew the whole like mansion and everything was a bit more like sharp edges and kind of I don't know, it was like a spookier vibe, I guess.
Yeah. All of these though, all of these kind of had a more mature theme about them. Like it's as if they were aimed for those 35-year-olds that, grew up, or not 35-year-olds, 25-year-olds that grew up on Pokemon.
Well, and we just had that commercial too that was like, you evolved and so did we, and it's kind of aimed at, it says Sun and Moon commercials that are aimed at our generation, and so it seems like they're really focusing on that.
Yeah, like these people that have grown up and now like are kind of looking for maybe that grittier side of Pokemon. This anime seemed kind of aimed at them. You deal with the stuff of death in the Cavern, even the Vision, the Reawakening. That's why something like the Legacy seemed a little bit like cringe, because it was just this little kid kind of fighting about his dad.
Yeah.
It made me wonder, do you think this will lead itself anywhere else? Like, because there's lots of cliffhangers with all of these. Do you think the cliffhangers were kind of setting up then almost as prequels to what we then see in the game, or what we go on to see in the game? Or do you think like, because some of them, like you have the old chateau and how it's this haunted place, and then you go see that place in the game. So the cliffhanger there isn't like what's gonna happen next. Like then you see it in the game, you see the place. Um, like I just wonder. Like I'm just hungry for more. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah.
there's gotta be Pokemon Generations episode 11 one day. There's gotta be Pokemon Generations the movie, or something. Um, you just wonder if they're going to do this again because they've had Origins now they have Generations. All of these were way too short. In grand total, I don't know if there's a way to see. Well, I mean, I guess that one's about 4 minutes, then 8 minutes, then 13 minutes, about 18 minutes, 22. Like it probably adds up to about a half hour to an hour between all 10.
Yeah.
So it is kind of long, I guess. Like they basically did a
It's kind of like an
movie,
hour-long special of like little short films,
like
kind
a
of all
robot
put
chicken
together.
of Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's kind of those scenes that you either kind of put together in your head and kind of they happened off camera sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of getting a vision into those like lost scenes that you knew happened
Well, you always
or
imagine in your
would.
head, like
Yeah,
when you're looking at little pixel art guys, you're like, I bet this is such an epic battle, and then they show it. Like I
yeah,
loved the what was it in episode 4 where they're I think that's what it was where they had like the no maybe it was the vision where you're facing up against Team Magma, and it's basically like there's someone breaching into the Team Magma facility, and it's basically you and your Sceptile just
yeah,
busting through all the doors. It's like crap, he's getting closer, and it's just you and your starter Pokemon running through, like just breaking
yeah.
through, and it's what you always imagine yourself doing. But yeah, it was perfect. If you haven't watched Pokemon Generations, definitely go check it out and make sure to leave comments down below on what you thought was your favorite episode. I think I would go ahead if I had to pick one. I would say that my favorite episode was, I think it was episode 8, The Cavern
Yeah.
with Kyogre and the flooding of the world.
Yep.
Would you
And
say
I'm just
that, or
gonna
would you say 6?
I think I'll stick with 6 just because I liked it a lot as just kind of like if I were to show somebody kind of like as a story kind of standalone in itself
Mm.
of like just I don't know. It seemed like I definitely 8 and 6 are kind of almost tied for me, but I do feel like with the cavern and stuff, you'd kind of have it. I think you could show that to anybody and they'd think it's really cool, but having kind of an insight into Pokemon already kind of helps. With the episode 6, I really liked how it was just kind of like a whole thing, just kind of wrapped, like concluded. It started and concluded. It had a whole arc to it in a little short thing, and it was also really beautifully done and powerful and touching. And so I really liked that. And I also liked just overall how Generations, I feel, makes it so even for those who have already played the games or for those who are going to experience the games for the first time, you can now kind of play those games and have a little more of the world created in your head of kind of how it lives and breathes, You kind of have an idea of what some of these other characters look like, a little more fleshed out, so that when you're like re-experiencing it now, you can kind of think about like Lance more as like he has a voice and and the leader of Aqua and Magma and all these people that you see that you kind of just had that maybe you didn't necessarily see in the anime, or there was a different life put to them here, or you just kind of pictured them as text bubbles, and it's a new fleshing out of this, and I feel like Origins was also kind of that way where replaying the games will have a slightly different energy, having an extra. It's like reading a book again after having seen the movie and having now a new idea of the characters and having
That's a good
of the
analogy for it.
scene. Yeah,
It makes me really want to play, especially seeing Team Magma and Team Aqua and like their characters. They were people have always said kind of more fleshed out villains of any sort of Pokemon game, as far as their motives and what they wanted to do. And the YouTube comments on the Generations videos were just so like deep in philosophy, like.
yeah,
These guys wanted to flood the world so they could start a new world, and just going back and forth. Like, life is originating on like the ground, and so there's all sorts of things going back and forth. It was really cool.
yeah.
Made me want to replay those games because I haven't picked up Omega Ruby yet, but I want to, and so It's getting to the point where it may be too late.
Got a few weeks.
Yeah, if I play Sun and Moon, I'm never gonna want to go back to anything else. It's gonna be like, ugh.
I know.
Like, this isn't as fun. It's not as polished.
Yeah. It has some 3D in there though, and they do like use it more than they did in X and Y and try to push it a bit more. So there is some of that you won't get in the Sun and Moon experience.
Even if I just play through the experience, like maybe I don't do like much of the metagame, but I do gotta give Omega Ruby a shot. And there's the bases,
I hear the metagame is better than because they actually like went and made it a whole new like story beyond it, so that I haven't experienced it also.
Yeah, I'll have to go do that.